Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. 5 for Friday, versatility a key for Steelers. It's no secret the Steelers value versatility among their players. Just in case anyone had forgotten, General Manager Omar Khan brought it up again at the NFL Scouting Combine earlier this year. Position flexibility has always been important to me, Khan said in Indianapolis in February. We have guys who are center capable. But that doesn't mean we aren't going to look at free agency, the trade market and the draft process. There are good players in every one of those areas. The Steelers made some overtures to players at the start of the free agency period at the center position. Those things didn't work out. The trade market? That's still a possibility. But the NFL draft comes up next week, and that is the next opportunity for the Steelers to perhaps bring in competition for Nate Herbig, currently penciled in as the starter after Mason Cole's release, at the center position. At this point, Herbig's career at the center position consists of 47 snaps he played there for the Eagles in 2021 and 2 more he spent at the position there for Philadelphia in 2020. So, of his more than 2,000 career snaps played, less than 50 have come at center. That being said, Herbig has played the position in the NFL. That will be 49 more snaps than anyone the Steelers might select in the draft has played at center. Left guard Isaac Seumalo also played center at Oregon State, though he has lined up at that position for just 34 snaps in his career, all coming with the Eagles. Right guard James Daniels, meanwhile, played 508 snaps at center in 2019 for the Bears, and also primarily played that position collegiately at Iowa. In fact, in 2018, Daniels was considered one of the top center prospects in the NFL draft. In that draft, even though Daniels was the 7th pick of the second round, he was the 4th center selected after Detroit took Frank Ragnow 20th, the Bengals picked Billy Price 21st and Cleveland made Austin Corbett the 1st pick of the second round. With Jason Kelce's retirement, Ragnow is arguably the best center in the NFL. Price, meanwhile, was a colossal flop, appearing in just 69 games before last playing for the Cardinals in 2022. And Corbett was jettisoned by Cleveland in his second season, getting traded to the Rams, where he became a guard. He's now a starter at that position for the Carolina Panthers. Even 2023 7th-round draft pick Spencer Anderson has some center play in his background in college at Maryland. Why bring this up? Because many Steelers fans and pundits are locking in on the Steelers selecting a center early in this draft. And they've centered in, no pun intended, on Duke's Graham Barton, Oregon's Jackson Powers Johnson and Zach Frazier of West Virginia. Now, certainly, those 3 players could certainly be in consideration for the Steelers with a 1st or 2nd round draft pick. But if they're not selected, that doesn't mean the Steelers have struck out. Remember Kelce? He was a 6th round pick in 2011. He could very well wind up in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That brings us back to Khan's statement about valuing position flexibility. The Steelers could covet a player who is strictly a center. But they also could look at a player who also could play guard and/or tackle. They have multiple players on their roster who have center play in their background. They could certainly add another such player in this draft. But if they don't, it's not devastating because of their collection over the past couple of years of flexible players up front. 2 of the more versatile players available early in next week's draft are Duke center Graham Barton and Iowa defensive back Cooper DeJean. Barton started at center at Duke as a freshman but moved to left tackle the past 3 seasons because he was Duke's best lineman. I think he has legit 5-position flexibility, said NFL.com draft analyst Daniel Jeremiah. He can move around and do different things. I think he's best at center, but he can survive at tackle if you need him to. I think he's fully capable of playing guard, as well. He's the best center in this draft, in space, change of direction, just overall athleticism. He's really, really talented there. As for Dijon, he's played safety, outside cornerback, nickel cornerback and even passing down linebacker in Iowa's defense, as well as being an outstanding punt returner. Dijon intercepted 7 passes in the past 2 seasons, returning 3 for touchdowns in 23 games. He also returned a punt for a touchdown. "This guy's a special player," Jeremiah said on Glenn Clark Radio recently. "You can move him all over the board." The new kickoff rule implemented by the NFL for the 2024 season is, in fact, causing some teams to dig deeper into return men in this draft. "I was talking to a GM the other day, and he was going through the process of pulling returns on guys from like their freshman year," said Jeremiah. "It was like the stuff we used to do a lot of in scouting that you really haven't had to do over the last few years as the return game has kind of diminished. But now, they're like, okay, we're close on these 2 corners. This one was a kickoff returner too, 3 years ago. They're going back and watching all these returns because now that has a little bonus to it, a little added value. I think it impacts the draft, absolutely." Former Steelers OT making position change. Former Pittsburgh Steelers offensive tackle Chukwuma Okorafor will play a different role for his new team than the one he played while wearing black and gold. As Okorafor transitions from the Steelers to the Patriots, he will make a position change, moving from the right to the left side. New England Director of Scouting and de facto General Manager Elliott Wolf said this week that Okorafor would be their starting left tackle if the season started today. Okorafor has played all but a couple of snaps during his professional career, but the vast majority of the plays he was on the field for in college at Western Michigan were spent at left tackle, according to Patriots beat writer Taylor Kiles. New England could never seem to find a reliable starting tackle last season and are hoping they got one in the former Steeler. Okorafor was cut early in the offseason by the Steelers and got a jump on pursuing his free agent options. He wound up signing with the Patriots on a 1-year contract worth $4 million at base value and could climb to as high as $8.25 million by the time the season ends. Former scout urges Steelers to fire Mike Tomlin. Not everyone believes that non-losing seasons and consistency is enough for the Pittsburgh Steelers to stick with head coach Mike Tomlin. Former NFL scout John Middlecoff is one who does not. Speaking on his podcast, 3 and Out, Middlecoff said the Steelers should have fired Tomlin during the season because of the team's lack of success outside of non-losing records, and if Pittsburgh wants to get out of a rut, moving on is the best move. "I thought they should have moved on from Tomlin last year," Middlecoff said. "Like I said, it's time for a new start. I think the Steelers are in a little bit of trouble. They're not going to be terrible, but I kind of view them in the same range they've been in." The Steelers likely never thought of firing Tomlin, and it may take a lot more than being in a rut for them to move on from a Hall of Fame-worthy head coach. But critics continued to appear, and to some degree it's warranted. With Pittsburgh not winning a playoff game in several years, the pressure is on for Tomlin to take this team to the next level. And in 2024, all eyes will be on him to do just that and shut down critics who believe he should be gone. And you, fan, what do you think of the situation of Mike Tomlin? Leave your opinion in the comments.